Nobody reaches the end of their life and wishes that they had been more comfortable. When people reach the end of their life, they wish they'd taken more risks. They wish they had loved harder. They wish they'd written that book. They wish they'd taken that chance. They'd tried that idea, that thing that was in their soul when they were young before they got caught up in the cares and worries of this world. This is what coming to perfection and our understanding of God's love does for us. It's not just about heaven, it's about freeing us to live the life that God actually intends for us to live in this life. Each and every one of us have good things in Christ Jesus that were prepared for us to do. Those good things are stored in Him, waiting for us to get to know Him and to be perfected in our understanding of His love for us, so that we will no longer fear and be able to then act on all of the amazing things that God has for us to do in this life. You know, for some of you, it may be as simple as being a mother. And I say simple, not unimportant. Simple means that it's hyper-focused. It's not a lot of things, it's one thing. But simple doesn't mean not valuable. Mothers are the ones who are preparing the very humans that are going to shape the future of the world. Mothers are one of the most important things that we have, and our society has so diminished the importance of this role. And the same thing with fathers, right? So for some people, their call, the thing that they need to be freed from fear, to be able to do at maximum effect, is to be good parents. For some, it's going to be to start a business. For some, it's going to be artists, others to be musicians. Everyone has a unique set of callings and giftings that have been granted to them. But the adversary's goal is to come and to steal your calling, to kill the love in your heart, and to destroy both your life and everyone else's life that's in connection with you through fear. If he can get you to fear anything, then he has leverage over you by simply threatening the thing that you are afraid of being harmed. And this is what God is trying to free us from. This is one of the most important things that Jesus accomplished at the cross, was to free us from fear by demonstrating to us the Father's disposition towards us. You see, by Jesus dying on the cross, it answers the question in every single human's heart. It's not, can God do it? It's, will He do it? We don't fear whether God is capable of healing someone. We don't fear whether God is capable of showing up and dealing with rent, right? When we have a bill due and we don't know how it's going to get paid, we don't wonder if God can do it. We wonder if He will. That is a question of His disposition and concern for us. And we all have that question deep buried within our soul. But Jesus answers this question once and for all, because if God loved us so much that He didn't spare His Son, that He was willing to show up in the flesh and allow the very people He was trying to save to crucify Him before all of His heavenly hosts, if He was willing to do that for us, then how could we possibly question His disposition towards us? And this reframes everything, because then when we face a difficulty, the question isn't whether God will move on our behalf or not. The question is, what is He trying to accomplish in us or through us in this moment or through this circumstance? You see, when we've been perfected in our understanding of God's love for us, fear becomes replaced by focus. Instead of facing circumstances that are difficult, where maybe we have a need and we're not sure whether God's going to show up, and so we find ourselves fearing until the time comes that we determine whether He's going to show up or not. And then if He doesn't show up in the way that we expect, we fall into frustration, because the adversary leverages that moment as an opportunity to impugn God's character and to make you doubt His love for you. But you see, when you look to the cross and you recognize that in the cross, God demonstrated unequivocally what his disposition towards you is, his love for you, then you no longer have to fear when you face difficult circumstances. Instead, you are freed to focus on either what it is that he is trying to do in you or what it is that he is trying to do through you. You see, I've seen some amazing situations where people faced personal life difficulties, whether their own sickness or a sickness that a family member had, and for whatever reason, the Lord chose not to move or intervene in that situation. And I watched these people in faith hold on to their confidence about God's disposition towards them, all the way through to an outcome that was not the outcome that they or anybody else wanted, but it was their confidence and certainty in who God is and who he demonstrated himself to be in Christ. It was that confidence that caused others around them, watching this whole situation play out, to say, if they can hold on to faith, even through all of that, there's no possible way that this is just them hanging on to their imaginary friend. There's no possible way that this is just some psychological anomaly. There's no possible way that this is just some weak-minded person who has to hold on to religion to feel better about death. Watching, it's easy, you see, it's so easy to sit on the sidelines when you don't know the person personally going through a situation like that. It's so easy to sit on the sideline and maintain intellectual superiority and act like, oh, I don't need that because I'm not afraid to die. I'm okay with the fact that I may just turn to dust and go off into the cosmic beyond. It's easy to think that you are intellectually superior to other people who are not so weak-minded that they have to hold on to a religion or a God to comfort themselves about the difficulties of life. It's easy until you're the one standing over a child's grave, until you're the one standing there with somebody who is sick and dying. It's easy until you're the one. But I've watched people who were the ones. I've been the one. And in those moments, what I observed people who actually were close to the situation. I watched them discover that in their own mind, the belief systems that they had were weak in comparison to the faith that they observed in somebody else. And that moment of suffering in that person's life produced victory for so many later. And so when we understand his love for us through the cross, it frees us to become powerful demonstrations of truth in this world. Whether through him showing up in the moment and demonstrating his glory through the healing, or whether he chooses to demonstrate his glory through the person's faith despite the difficulty, despite the suffering. We cannot live the life that God intended for us to live if we are still living in fear for our lives. We can't. Now, this is not a rebuke to anyone who struggles with fear. I want you to hear me. This is the path that we are all on, being matured, being brought to the standard of maturity in both faith and love that was set by the Messiah. This is the path. This is the path we're all on. And if you're not there yet, if you still have fear in your life, that's okay. That just means you haven't yet been perfected in your understanding of his love for you. But it also means that now you know where to focus. It means that you need to draw near to him, to continue to pursue him, to ask him to demonstrate, to pour out his love for you in a greater measure so that your understanding of his love for you continues to increase and to improve. This is what we are all trying to mature in. Could you imagine what the world would look like if we all understood God's love for us at that level? If we were all brought to the standard of maturity in both trust and love that Jesus set, and we were able to live as fearlessly as he did, if we were able to love each other as fearlessly as he loved us, imagine what the world would be like if we were all able to come to that place. You know, I don't know if it's possible on this side of heaven, but I like to believe that it's more possible than we give it credit for. And I think part of the reason that we don't get there is that we're just so focused on all the wrong things. You know, we're so focused on, you know, how do we behave better? And these are important things, don't get me wrong, because how we behave is interlinked with love. That's what Jesus said. He said that love does no harm to a neighbor. And so that's what the fulfillment of the law is. You know, when you think about all of the different behaviors that we have, like we like to act like our personal private behaviors have no effect on other people. But what you don't understand is that to participate in sinful behaviors privately is damaging your own soul, your own psyche, your own mind, and it is diminishing your ability to fulfill the things that God has for you to accomplish. It would be like a person who's on a military team going into a combat situation, having not taken care of their body, so that in a moment where it was really important for them to save their partner's life, their physical body failed because they failed to prepare themselves. And this is the same thing that happens spiritually. When we fail to prepare ourselves privately, then we fail others publicly. There is no such thing as private sin that doesn't hurt anybody else. And so we have to understand that part of loving each other is how we conduct ourselves. But the goal is not how we conduct ourselves. It's not conducting ourselves rightly unto righteousness, right? We were made righteous by Christ so that we could behave rightly, so that through that right conduct, we can love each other. This is the goal. The end game is always to love fearlessly and to live fearlessly.